all your work in movies, reviewing and festivals, and then once in a while you're reminded of the power of them, right? Of how they impact people. Can you
Oh
talk a
yeah.
little bit about that?
Yeah, this is a story I told once on Linoleum Knife, but there's a French film a few years back called Summer Hours. And it's about a family and sort of like, how it's kind of a metaphorical thing about like who is basically going to be the safeguard of our cultural treasures, and how are subsequent generations going to know like what needs to be preserved, what needs to be, saved and kind of cherished, and what sort of just kind of gets thrown to the wayside because the youth don't care about it or whatever. Anyway, there's the mother of the family is like matriarch. There's like five or six kids, and one of her children is this, like, he's an economist. He's a PhD, and he writes these very weighty books. And she has a scene with one of her other kids where she talks about how, like, oh yeah, I have his books, they sit by my bedside, I can't understand a word he's talking about. And just, a very whatever scene, nothing, no big, like, emotional, heart stirring thing. But I had this moment of like, oh shit, my mother died when I was in college. She has never read a book that I wrote. And that came down on me like a ton of bricks. And I
Mm.
had to leave the theater and go like cry in the lobby for 10 minutes. And it was just out of nowhere. Like the filmmaker never intended like that to be a big moving moment, but it just said this thing to me and triggered this thing in my head that was just like emotionally devastating. So yeah, that's the thing about movies. Like they'll just sneak up on you sometimes. And even something that is completely benign, but like a character will show up wearing the jacket that your dead father used to wear, or someone will say something that was a thing that, was an inside joke in a relationship that you had that's now over, or whatever. I mean, like, and it's not always sad. It can be something that's just funny or weird or, reminds you of things. But yeah, I think it taps into our consciousness in a way that other art forms don't quite so readily.